Hi, YouTube. Excuse me. I hope you all are doing well. I am doing okay. Lot been going on since usual, or like usual. But yesterday I saw a clip on somebody's channel of a woman on The View, and she was a black lady, and she was talking about how like the black people and the gay community or queer or however they want to call themselves are like minorities and downtrodden worse than like any other um, ethnic group. And I'm sitting here thinking, wow, really? So, what do you want from the people in the United States? Huh? And let me tell you something, there's people like me that could go and get freebies from the government because of my heritage, but I choose not to. And I made my own way in life. So, what the is your problem? You didn't grow up in slavery and you didn't grow up on a reservation. As a matter of fact, you're not even Native American, unless you happen to be um, an queer Native American. So that would be the exception, which is truly the biggest minority. And don't worry, we're all going to get wiped out very, very shortly here from all the Hispanics. Learn, like I did, learn to speak Spanish. I took 2 years of it, but I'd have to have a refresher, and I lived down south in Phoenix for a few years, so it came in handy. But it was a little different than the dialect that I had learned, but I knew enough to understand quite well. But that's the only issue or topic I have today. It's all bullshit. If you're a part of the United States, we are united as different cultures in here. And if you want to play baby games like the Poor Me baby game, then what about an orphan Native American that didn't have a res to grow up on? Or, but I was a slave. How you like that? Quit your damn baby ass whining. That's all I got to say to you. Okay. And I got everybody's culture in me. Everybody. I can trace myself back to everybody. So just quit your goddamn whining. All right? Okay. Now I'll move on to the rest of my day. Hi. I just wanted to get that out. That's enough of this racial war games and the poor me um, uh, nonprofit organizations that are going to utilize their skin color to get and do things in this world. It's like, grow the fuck up for real. Really, get a job and work. That's how you get them. You get them by doing something. Get off your butt, quit your damn baby ass whining, and do something with your life instead of putting down everybody else with your whiny whims. And don't tell me that you are any worse off than any other culture that the Dark Cabal goes after. Just stop it. Enough. You're either a part of this country or you're not. And I've heard people tell natives, if you don't like the way it's going and you don't like our soldiers, then you can leave the country. Oh no, you can leave the country and take your dumbass soldiers with you. There are some Native American tribes that were not warring nations. My people got chased all the way across the United States to get away from trash like that. And your slave owners. So anyway, I think that's enough. No, people of color and queerness are not the same. All right? They didn't take you and take all your land from you and still treat you dirty after they gave your whole bloodline sicknesses that carry in our blood now till this day. Shut the F up. Really, shut her down now. It's bullshit. you don't have a leg to stand on. So okay. Yes, I am done with that. Oh, here's something. It's terrible and sort of humorous at the same time. So yesterday, Doug and Dave, his friend, were going to go to town, and Dave had to go to the food shelf so he could re-sign up for this old people senior box we get with like um, low sodium and low fat cheese and juice or whatever. And so he had to sign up for that, and Doug had to go to Walmart and somewhere else. And he told Dave that he would be back to pick him up. Now, Dave's had surgery today for one arm for carpal tunnel, and he's going to have the other one like coming up here in the future. So Doug dropped him off, and the next thing I know, and keep in mind, before they left, we had that conversation, or I had that conversation, and I told Doug to expect a lot more. That no, we are not all gods. And I told Dave, I said, we're God's children. Like my child's my child, but my child is not me. He's made in my image. I got one that has like redder hair but big brown eyes. So, yes, my child resembles me. He's made in my image, but my child is not me, you know. And he agreed. Well, somehow by the time he got into town, and I knew with that conversation, um, just making him admit we did not make ourselves. That's true. I knew that was enough to spark old Satan and their ride into town. So what happens? Doug comes home without Dave. I'm like, I'm just so sick of him and his weird friends. I mean, Dave isn't an issue, but there's some people that are. But that was more a slam at him, if you see where I'm going. But anyway, so he said he looked around town for him, and I said, well, we got this one road that's called Radio Road because we have a radio station going around the lake. It's a curvy road, Highway 7, but we call it Radio Road. And that's the way to Dave's house. I said, well, did you go around the lake? And yeah, he looked everywhere around town, then went around the lake, and the people there said he took like some bread that they had and a few other things and headed off. I said, well, did you look at the lake, like down by the picnic area, the one in town? And he's like, yeah. Couldn't find him. Next thing I know, because I was telling Doug right before we had neighbors pull up in the yard, I said, you have a week to decide what my over 30 years here was worth. And he went to say about how much, like, we had wasted on my kids. He didn't use the word wasted, but then I called them. I said, figure in my crappy kids, the whole thing. I said, keep all the cars. I mean it. I just want one and the price of half this place, and I'm out of here. I said, I don't care if you pay me off. And he says, you pay me off. I said, hey, this was your place. I said, you figure in you were here first. Let me see, for like 3 years before let me see, 87, 93 and a half years before I was. So you figure all that out. And even we have thousands of Hot Wheels, like 30,000 or more, and some are specialty. They're like collections of different things. I told them just my personal stuff, half the price of this place, and this, and because I got receipts for things I've planted that, hundreds of dollars, and all my labor. It's like, no, I want out of it that bad that I'll just take half of the property in the house and the shop value and the lean-to outbuildings and whatnot, and you give me half of what the place is worth. And I don't want anything else but my own things, and I am so far gone, it isn't even funny. I'm already gone in my brain. So But I just had a feeling something was going to happen to Dave. I did not think he would leave him in town. Now, I don't know what he did or how he did that or how he worded it, because he said, sometimes Dave doesn't understand. Well, he tells me that. And I'm pretty savvy. When I go to learn something, I'm like right on it and I don't miss anything. So, and Dave Sharp, it's like even though he's had injuries and stuff, even a head injury, he got shot in the head, but even with all of these things, he's still in there and he's sharp and he's a businessman. It's a injured one, but nonetheless. So, I mean, I can talk to him and we can have a conversation and, so anyway. So he did something to his so-called friend. And these are the type of things, and this is not a joke. These are the type of things that this guy does all over. I mean, if you see, it's like a tsunami of a walking disaster area. You know, it's like a tidal wave of hard to explain. Oh my God, you just wouldn't know. You just have to witness it. I'm serious. Like, if you want to see a person's true colors, get to know them, and if they're a friend, even jib them a little bit, give them a little bit of shit, and see if they're gonna come unglued on your ass, and then you'll find out their character really quick, you know. So, anyway, so those are the type of things that are going on in my life today. Besides getting my housework done and feeding the outdoor kitties and feral cats. I don't know who's God's outdoor kitties. Such a beautiful day. It's like perfect weather for me. 80 degrees. I just love it. It'd be a perfect day to be at a beach. I don't see that in my near future right now. Not today. And then, anyway, well, maybe coming up here though. I'm thinking about there's this lake called Grindstone Lake that's north of me somewhat in a town called Finlayson. And it's very deep and it has a creek coming in it like ours does. But these people around here have manicured their lawns around the lake so bad that it turns nasty green. Like even early in the spring, you'll see a lot of green stuff sitting in the bays. And that has a river running through it and a creek and another creek. And that's part of it too. It's always kind of murky and green. It's a green colored lake, but the one up north is really deep and it's blue. And yeah, and it has a really nice sandy beach. So I'm thinking about it. It's not a huge lake, it's about an 80-acre lake. I think ours is too, something like that. Maybe that's like 60 acres. Ours might be 80, somewhere around in there. Or 50 and 60, I don't know. But with the little bays and stuff too, it's hard to. And then see with ours here, the river, the Snake River, literally comes down from a giant lake up north called Mille Lacs. And Cindy knows the Snake River comes out of there and just winds around like and back and forth through our state a whole bunch and finally ends up in like going through all kinds of lakes and waterways to our lake, Pokegama Lake. Keeps snaking along and goes into another lake called Cross Lake. And there is a dam where it just keeps on flowing through there and goes into the St. Lawrence River, which, if you know, and I know like a friend of mine up in Canada lives up above the St. Lawrence waterway, and that actually and literally was dredged out right across the border from us, about like 20-30 miles from us, from Lake Superior in Duluth through the St. Lawrence River waterway. Underneath there, literally submarines can go underneath that waterway. There is an underground river waterway that they dug out like in the 20s or something, like way back when, that they can literally go from the Great Lakes almost like down to the cities in Minneapolis all the way with a submarine. Right across from me, like 12 miles as the crow flies, there could be a sub under the water there. It's weird, huh? So, and if you look where I live, right before what they call the arrowhead of Minnesota, and Lake Superior's like right there. And then you'll see where the St. Lawrence waterway is there. And so we're like right over here with all that water there, and then all these, there's thousands of rivers and waterfalls and lakes, and 10,000 lakes or more, and all kinds of water everywhere in my state. So, yeah. But still, the people in the city pay a water bill. That's uh, terrible. Water should be free. It's all over the place, you know. Maybe not for some people, but they have the means to literally deep well any place in the world. And there's technology. You can literally make moisture out of like sand. You can burn sand hot enough. I think it's with I don't know if it's peroxide or it's, I don't think hydrogen. There's something else, and then it's like you heat it, and then it's like an osmosis, and then it would create like a condensation, and you can literally get like moisture out of even like the driest thing with different techniques in the world. Anyway, there's all kinds of ways to make things go around for free that these scientists could be doing for people and feeding people, and the planet would be lush. Instead, they drain areas. They want people to get rid of people there and destroy everything to herd us all in areas like sheep. And they've been doing it for hundreds of years all over the planet. Look where there's deserts and where it used to be lush, and check out the history in those areas and what happened war-wise and with people around the world. And then you'll too really notice them Phoenicians that turned into like Romans, that turned in like in Egyptian, or you know coming into Europe and whatnot and back again, and then into the Americas and Africa and South America, and they're in Antarctica. And oh, what we have to have visas and papers to travel all over this planet, where these lunatics go and do anything they want wherever they want on what? Diplomatic status. If you didn't hear me, I said kiss my diplomatic, But yeah, maybe not so. That wasn't diplomacy. I think that was a frontal attack. Anyway, yeah, I got my exercise done today. Look out, world. For real. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Going into just about 5 months now. And I knew at the 6th month, um, it's like, yeah, just, you'll see. Yeah, exercising is great, and it is an antidepressant. I passed around a post like a 20-second hug can help those happy endorphins. I forget which column right this second. And I passed it around, but yeah, still don't touch me. That's nice, I wrote. Don't touch me. Still don't touch me, though. That's what I wrote, yeah. I've really had some energy vampires around me. People that'll come up and like hug you and not let go or be touching on you and stuff. And it's like, oh, it's so disgusting. I got in trouble. I learned my lesson. Just because somebody touches me first doesn't mean I can touch them back, especially if you slap them. You know, I guess that's a no-no. It's okay for some fucking deviant to touch me, but I can't do nothing about it. I'm just supposed to take all their crap that they dish out. You know, just like comparing black people to gay people and leaving out the poor orphan native like me. What the hell? You're not the minority. I am. Who the hell do you think you are? I really don't care. I really don't. I love everybody. I'm just being me, and asking you, who the hell do you think you are? Do you feel a little foolish? You should, you know. And then to connect, oh, geez, my gender or my sexual choices with my skin color. Oh, holy shit, that's a new one. Wow. And I lived to see the day that the world would be so regressed. And I called Doug retarded the other day, and don't call me names. That's illegal. I said, no, you're a type 2 cluster B narcissist. And I'm a medical professional that studied psychology, and that's not calling you names. That's telling you the category your retarded self fits in. I'm not calling anybody names. That's a professional analysis. And it's more than an opinion. So it's like I was sitting at the table. Yeah. Bam. I said, did you study psychology? Did you go to nursing school or take any kind of medical? Like I took all my Red Cross courses and TMA training and nutrition and chef classes and software. I said, you know, he went to say something. I said, no, you didn't. You know, that's war. Pretty bad when somebody can tell you what your mental retardation is when you don't want to hear it, but they can prove it by psychology standards. And I think leaving what you call your best male friend in town and driving 8 miles home when it's hotter than hell and he's got surgery the next day, a little bit flippin' warped. I would have really kind of waited around a little more. or even drove around a little more. But it just so happened that some minister pulled up as I was telling Doug, because he was basically, I said, and as these people pulled up, I was saying, so you're telling me that I don't deserve to get anything out of my 30 years in this place and all my hard work? And he said, I'm not saying that. And then this car pulled up and I said, I don't know who it is. And it was loud enough out the window. But I said, I want a divorce. You figure it out. You have a week to tell me what you think I was worth for you, my 30 years. And tell your friends I don't want any more of their, I said, tell your freaky friends that I don't want any more of their shit in my yard. I've had people that have stood outside my bathroom when I was in the shower, drinking beer and flipping, partying and revving up cars. And I mean, yes, that's what you do, but you don't do it outside your wife's bathroom or her kitchen. You take it over on the other side of the shop or something. Just brain dead, nasty shit. Whatever. Just like low trash. Whatever. It's the truth. So, yeah. He's got a week to decide what I'm worth. Otherwise, I'm going to do it legally. I told him I'm going to write a letter for the kids and then take care of my personal business. What kids? He said to me. Yours? I said, no, not my crappy kids. I said, for the wards of the state. Oh, like he forgot what I'm passionate about, you know? Yeah, they have short memories, those narcissists. They forget that they shouldn't have ever got married to anybody. You don't go and marry somebody when you're not committed to them. You just say no. And if you mean no, you just don't do it. It's as simple as that. Because people like that, they know they're not going to be faithful in their hearts and in their minds. You know, they knew it going into it. Otherwise, it would have worked. You know, a person doesn't have to expect to be happy every single day or even every single month or year or whatever. But I mean, when the bad outweighs the good, if I can laugh more online with my friends, and speaking of that, if I get cut off, I love you all. I told him, I said, well, my angels are going to, I said, I'll do it legally and my angels will be coming around. Or I said, God's angels will be coming around and coming through for me. And he says, I know, kind of smirky. And I said, oh, no, not your devil ones. I said, God's angels. Sure enough, the next thing I know, like 3-4 people made videos. Another lady, Laura, thank you for sharing that song. Don't Touch the Bride song. That was really, really, and that says it all right there. It really does. And people writing to say hi, and or they like my yard, whatever it is, or hang in there, whatever. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And yes, those are God's angels. Those are the ones that pulled through for me when I'm going through hell to help keep my sanity. And you know you helped me, and yes, you did. If you thought you were, you absolutely, absolutely did. All of you. And that is how God works for me too. That I don't really worry about too much, and that's why I'm always happy every day. No matter what is thrown at me, you know. But I thought I would bring it to your attention as far as their critical race theory and trying to separate people and trying to make gender and skin color the same type of issue. It's absolutely not the same type of issue. I don't know a gay person that had smallpox in their family tree. Do you? Unless they are a Native American. That's a murder and attempted murder. What happened? Genocide and slavery. And the children were taken away from their parents and put in schools all over the world. No, that didn't quite happen the same. So, people that were forced to ignore their religion, the one true Almighty, and forced, like, to, if you were forced to count beads on a rosary and worship and say Hail Mary when you're praising God, what an insult to you and your people. And they taught them to speak a language that wasn't theirs. They had no understanding what they were going through at all. And yes, that happened first before anybody was brought to this country. So just stop your whining and stop trying to separate people. Don't buy into this. If they feel like they're so I had a quarter, a paper bag, a pair of shorts, and my swim trunks under, or swimsuit underneath my pants with a jean jacket and a paper bag, and I made it all the way to Florida to pick oranges when I was 15. I think somebody that thinks that they're like in a ghetto or take your paper bag and move like I did. If I could do it and beg for a job, you know, that's what you do. You lower your standards and you scrub a toilet or you work at McDonald's. You do what you have to do to make your life go around. And stop expecting everybody else to give you that life, because we don't owe you anything. The people of the United States don't owe you anything, and the Native Americans that own this land owe you absolutely nothing. You are indebted. Stop your shit. To the ones that think that they're a minority. This is who I'm talking to. You know, and it needs to be said. Don't let something get out of hand that's absolutely foolish. Skin color and gender are not the same thing. Even a Native American like me is going to tell you no. There's not a gay person that went through what our bloodline went through. Just stop it, shut it down, cut it off. Neither did your black people. Yes, there was native slaves. Ask Pocahontas. Yes, that's one of my ancestors. Go look at her picture. And Sacagawea, look her up too. Those are my two different tribes that I descend from. Plus every other nationality. So I just thought I'd make that really clear because it's so foolish. And I thought, oh, they're just got one more thing now that they're going to throw in there like they've been trying for a few years now. Like the poor people that are not getting beat up by anybody out here in this world. On an average, an older female on this planet right now is probably about the most endangered besides a tiny baby. So I'm a dying breed, believe me. Older ladies, raise your hand. You know what I'm saying. It's not just because of all this misplaced sexuality on this planet that have left most women in a very uncomfortable, non-feminine feeling situation with the way men look and treat you, you know. So, but this needed to be addressed and put the kibosh on it right now. You don't have a leg to stand on. And I can define a woman. I'm not one of them. So you can take your far left insane if it's not logical, like there's black people that are gay, there's Native Americans that are gay, and they're going to tell you that they don't feel like they have to be singled out and babied like some wabba nabba because why? For recognition or because you're weak? Like I said, get a real job, shut the hell up, and expect the government to pull the people out of poverty, not the other citizens that have worked hard all their life. You can bite me. Or rather, if you try and bite me, you're going to have, well, real problems besides your mental ones.